All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to everyone that's arrived here this morning, as well as everyone who's tuning into the live stream on YouTube from around the country. Let's make sure our phones are on silent or on off, okay, and we will get started. So my name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending the next 50 minutes or so going through who DuePoint is and what we do. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to speak to me. Some of the staff are here with me this morning. Come chat to us afterwards. We can answer any questions that you have. Okay, so DuePoint is actually a division of a company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. So there are only a dozen or so registered insurance businesses in South Africa. Constantia is one of them. They underwrite a lot of other FSPs that offer insurance products. That's their building in the background. That's their logo that you see there. They were founded in 1952, so they're about 70 years old, so very reputable business. Okay, we actually listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a business called Conduit Capital, so you're free to go take a look at who Constantia is and find out more about them. That's the FSP number that we operate under. You'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all our FSP licenses on display. We've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an FSP license, we've got an investment license, and we've got our accreditation with the DSA and the DMA, the Direct Marketing Association and the Direct Selling Association. Right? Lots of accreditation, lots of licenses. Why? Because credibility is a very important aspect of our business. We don't do any advertising as a company, as a division of DuePoint. So odds are our guests here this morning have probably never heard of DuePoint until they were invited to this presentation. So this is a very important fundamental step in building any sort of trust, because we're going to be proposing a partnership here this morning. And so you need to start trusting the business that we're going to be speaking about, right? So we do everything in our power to build that credibility for you. Okay, so who are the individuals here at DuePoint? This is actually the executive and the senior management team. The three individuals on the far left are all registered chartered accountants, CAs. It sounds very fancy. Our head executive, or our senior executive, is Brendan Benfield. We're very lucky to have him leading this division because his family have been entrenched in insurance their entire lives. His father's been in insurance for 50 years. Dr. Brian Benfield founded Clientele Life, along with the IFA, which a lot of us are familiar with, among a host of other businesses that they've launched locally and internationally. And then Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps, and they went on to found PMD, which is Prime Meridian Direct, a very successful short-term insurer based just up the road from us. And we know PMD because they do tons of advertising on TV, on radio, the billboards. We even got a billboard right outside my office that I get to enjoy watching every morning. So they've been involved in insurance for a very long time. I always tease Stuart and Brendan. I said they've probably got insurance policies as little boys for their birthday presents when they were growing up. That's what happens when you live under the roof of a professor of insurance. Okay, so we're very lucky to have Brendan leading the business. Then we've got Tim Reynolds. Tim's actually controlling the live feed for us this morning. But Tim comes from a corporate banking background. He's got a lot of experience in corporate banking at the First Rand Group. He reported directly to the CEO and the board of executives there, so a very fancy job that he had over there. And he heads up all our regulatory, our auditing, and our accounting aspects in our business. Stacey supports him in that. She's got a lot of experience in auditing with Deloitte, locally as well as abroad. She's just come back from overseas where she was working in Luxembourg. So those are our three accountants. And then the two non-accountants. Fortunately, we're much better looking than the accountants. We've got more personality than them. We generally smile a little more because we don't have to work in Excel day in and day out. Jane has got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling, which is fundamental to the growth of our business, right? Our growth is predicated on referral marketing. And so Jane brings a lot of that experience with her. She comes from Yorkshire in England, so if you speak to her, you'll hear her Yorkshire accent. It's not because she's got a lisp or anything. She's from another country. She's been in South Africa for about 10 years. And then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising for most of my working career. I tried to do a stint in engineering, but it was too difficult, I think. Wasn't having enough fun, so I dropped out of engineering. Only told my father about a month later. I had to pretend I was going to university for a few weeks before I gathered up the courage to tell him. But then I jumped into marketing and advertising, which I had a little bit of experience from before, and very much thrived in that business. We started a digital agency in the late 90s when the internet was just booming. You remember those days? Little modems that used to make a lot of noise sitting on your table. That's when I got involved in that business. And I ran the digital agency fairly successfully for about 20 years. And I say fairly successfully, and I'll touch on that a little later, before I then jumped out of that business and joined the team at DuePoint. So our mandate here, these individuals that you see on the screen, our mandate is to support our wealth engineers, to support the people that join this business. Because as a division, we can only be successful if our wealth engineers are successful. There's no other way for me to be successful. There's no other way to have growth in our business unless our wealth engineers are being successful. And so everything that we do at DuePoint is to support you guys. Okay? So this is, again, is a very important fundamental step. Trust the business, trust the people that you're getting involved in. Because it's only through collaboration, through this common interest, that we can be successful. It can't be any other way. You can't get into a partnership where your business partner is doing something else and you're not collaborating with them. Okay. So, why are our guests here this morning? How many guests do we have in the room? Just a quick show of hands. It's the only question I'll ask you. Don't be shy. Okay, great. I always love having lots of guests in the room. It means the wealth engineers are doing their work. So welcome to the guests. But what is the premise of being here? I would assume that the person invited you here didn't tell you that we had wonderful tea and coffee and that they were going to pay for your tea and coffee this morning and then suddenly ambush you with a meeting after that. I would assume the premise would be some form of financial opportunity, right? The person said to you, are you interested in making more money? And I understand that the majority of South Africans would say yes, because I get statistics that paint a picture of what personal finance looks like in South Africa, and it's fairly dismal for the majority of us. So you would have said, yes, I'm interested in making some more money, an additional income stream of sorts, okay? And this led you to come sit here on a Saturday morning listening to me instead of sleeping late in bed. And we speak about two kind of driving factors behind this, right? No one wants to be here on a Saturday morning. I'm not that interesting, I don't think. But the two driving factors behind people being interested in some entrepreneurial activity are two things. We speak about the economy, and we speak about that four-letter word that you see on the screen there, debt. And I don't have to delve into the economy too much, but we all know that the economy is not in a great shape. Okay? Got very little growth in the economy. It means that there is very little investment into infrastructure and growth in the country. When you've got 50% of the workforce unemployed and there's no growth, that creates horrible circumstance for the majority of people in South Africa. That means 50% of us are supporting the other 50%, right? And that's only workforce. Then you've got everyone else that isn't at an age of working. The pensioners, the people that are younger than the age of 18, we're supporting all of those people too. And the economy, the negative aspects of the economy play out directly in our lives. So they affect each one of us. The frustrating thing about the economy is that we don't have any control over it. Zero control over it. You can read the newspaper and see what's happening on News 24 and listen to 702, depress yourself by watching Carte Blanche as much as you want. You've got no control over changing any of it, unfortunately. So we're left to face the effects of the economy. What are the effects? The effects are companies in survival mode instead of thriving and growing. What does that mean? It means that they're not hiring new people. In some cases, they might be retrenching people, right? Getting rid of labor. When we see people being retrenched, you might have been retrenched yourself. We see it in rising interest rates. Food inflation is sitting at 11%. It means that food is doubling in price every 8 years currently. Any form of import is going up in price because the rand's getting hammered, right? My father's a gold miner, so he loves it when the rand's getting hammered because he sells gold in dollars. So some people are benefiting. How else do we see it play out? We see the work environment becoming more competitive. Right? Do you realize how competitive the work environment is? Look at the education sector. If you run or own a school, it's becoming a very lucrative market because parents even understand that the workplace is becoming so competitive that they are now compelled to look at the best schooling that they can get for their kids because they want their kids to have an advantage over the other kids. Everyone in the workplace is now competing against each other because there's 100% of people looking for jobs, only 50% are going to find them. So the person that you sit next to at work is actually a competitor. Very hard to collaborate with them without some form of paranoia starting to creep in, right? Again, something we don't have control over. One aspect that exacerbates our financial position is debt. Debt is extremely crippling. Unfortunately, as a society, we seem to take on debt fairly naturally. It's almost like this natural way of life for you to now start earning a salary and then start engaging in some form of debt. Almost every single working South African has got debt, right? Almost 100% of working South Africans have got some form of debt. You afford a debt, like I said, the moment you earn a salary. That salary gets paid into a bank account, and when that happens, the bank goes, and other financial institutions go, oh, wonderful, a salaried employer, someone we can depend on, someone we know is going to get a salary every month, someone we can debit. Okay, and they'll offer you a host of financial products. They'll take on the form of debt instruments, and some of the products will take on the form of investments or savings. Okay, unfortunately, as South Africans, which products do we all tend towards? Debt instruments, right? South Africans only start engaging on average in savings or investment products at the age of 50. The age of 50. That is so late in the day, right? Credit cards, one of the debt instruments we love to engage in. There's also personal loans, educational loans, clothing accounts. I think you can even get can you get a Woolworths card where you can pay for food that you ate last year? You can do that, right? The extents we will go to. Cars, we've got about 10 million cars on the road. Only about 35% are insured. You know how many people buy new cars and cancel their insurance the very next month? I got a friend that bought a brand new Alpha when he just started working, right? That's when you buy your first car if you can, when you first start working, because you have to find a wife, and your wife will only marry if you ever got a nice car. See the pressure the men are under. And he ended up washing his car in the driveway one Saturday, and he got hijacked in his driveway. And then on Monday, he found out that he had made some stuff up on his debit account with the insurance company, and he hadn't been paying his insurance for the last 6 months. He ended up paying for that Alpha for 5 years that he never owned, right? So when 35% of the population do not have insurance on the cars that they own, they're in the same situation as that guy, 65% of us. Frightening. Home loans. Very, very few of us can afford to go buy a house cash when we find a house we want to move into, right? And people will say to you, rather buy a house, don't rent. House is a great investment, they tell you. You end up paying the bank back about 2.5 times the value of that property asset because we all jump for the 20-year bond. You know you can get a shorter bond. You can say to the bank, I only want to pay the house off for 10 years or 5 years. But what we do naturally as a society, we go, well, I'm earning this much. I deserve the biggest house I can afford. So naturally you tend towards the 20-year bond because that means you can get a bigger house, right? So we've got South Africans that engage in bonds, typically in their 30s, people buy a house, okay, and engage in this 20-year bond, and they typically only become a home owner at the age of 50-something, okay. So to exacerbate our personal finance situation even more, we have this thing looming down on us. Every single day when we wake up in the morning, we're one day closer to this event in our lives. Do you want to know what it is? Every day it gets a little bit closer. In your 20s, you don't really think about it. In your 30s, you start to think about it. In your 40s, you certainly start thinking about it, but you can't do anything about it. And in your 50s, you start doing something about it in a panic. It's called retirement. This paints a horrible picture. The stats we get from the FSB, along with that South Africans only start engaging in proper investment and savings and retirement planning when they're in their 50s, also tells us that only 2% of the population is retiring financially independent. That means 98% of us are getting to retirement in a position where A, we either have to downgrade our lifestyle so that we can afford to get by on what we've planned, or we suddenly become dependent on our kids to support us, or we become dependent on the government, on that measly grant that they give us. So it starts to play out in very, very, very negative ways when we get to retirement. And unfortunately, it's 98% of us. So in this room, there's about 140 people in the room. Maybe 2 or 3 of us will get to retirement financially independent. The rest of us, and I can tell you with a lot of surety that the rest of us are going to get to retirement with regret for the situation that we suddenly find ourselves in. And who are we going to blame? The government, our employer, the economy, the situation. That's who you're going to blame, for sure. Right? Because for you to engage in responsible retirement planning, you typically have to start at the age of about 20, 25, in that region, early 20s. Okay? So this is data that was published on the Fin24 website. It's not my data. Go look at the article, Fin24, 19th of September. The information here is predicated on the rising mortality rate. So currently the mortality rate in South Africa is 74. People dying today, on average, women are dying at the age of 74. I think men are a little younger, I think 72 or something, right? Because the women are talking us to death sooner. Okay, but that's the current mortality rate. Current mortality rate. But the people in this room, we're all alive and kicking, right? I'm looking at all of you. You all look fairly healthy. Our mortality rate is beyond 74. Kids being born today, they reckon on average are going to live beyond 100, right? This is because of increasing technology, medical services, all of that that's happening currently, that's always advancing. It's pushing our mortality rate up every single year. Do you know how many 100-year-olds, people that are beyond 100, that are living in South Africa today? Do you know how many there are? Take a guess. 20, 50, 100? There are 4,000. 4,000 people that are over the age of 100 today. So this data is predicated on the rising mortality rate, right? They said, okay, financial planners, what are financial planners doing? Financial planners are trying to predict when you're going to die, because they have to predict how long your investment, your retirement savings has to last you, right? So this data has actually now changed. They said, well, you need to start saving more because you're living longer. So if you retire at 60, maybe you're going to live till 90. So you need to have saved enough to support yourself for 30 years of unemployment. It sounds like a crazy long time to be doing nothing for, right? You drive your spouse nuts in 30 years. Probably bring the mortality rate down. Can't imagine my father not working. He'll kill my poor mother. Okay, so here's 3 figures at the top. Look at the 3 figures at the top. Starts at 5,000 Rand a month. If you engage in responsible retirement planning and from the age of 20 till 40, so for 40 years, you save 800 Rand a month, right? You're one of those few people that go sit with a financial advisor and they say to you, or you've got a company pension scheme or something, and they say to you, right, we're going to start putting money into your retirement every month. They say 800 Rand a month, that has to go up 7% every year in line with inflation, right? You do that for 40 years. You can't get retrenched in those 40 years. 40 years, you'll have saved R1 million as a cash investment, right? Your retirement savings is now worth R1 million. That'll pay you out 5,000 Rand a month for the next 30 years. It'll also eat into the capital. So this R1 million will get smaller, and it'll run out at 90. You must die at 90. You can't live to 91 because you'll be starving for a whole year, right? This is the beauty of financial planning, okay? R1 million. Anyone saving R1 million currently? Anyone doing that? Very few people are doing that. Very few, right? But how dignified is living 5,000 Rand a month? Grocery shopping is more than that for a family every month. Kids' education. Kids' education. Don't even get me started on that. I've got a 4-year-old. Her creche costs more than Wits University engineering degree does. You're laughing. That's more. I said to my wife, send the kids straight to university. We're not paying this. Because you know what the schools do? They increase that amount every single year. A private school, by matric, a private school now costs 12,000 a month for one kid. Send her straight to varsity. She's got 20 years to pass first year. Way better decision, okay? So that's certainly not dignified, 5,000 Rand a month. So yeah, much better, 26,000 Rand a month. You need to have saved 5 million Rand to afford yourself that payment every month for 30 years. 4,000 Rand a month for 40 years, you need to increase that 4,000 Rand by 7% every year. Anyone get a 7%, 8% increase every year for the last 5 years from the employer? You don't. You don't. Companies are in survive mode at the moment, right? Don't look at your company and go, I expect this, I deserve this. They're in survival mode, right? They would love to thrive in the current economy because it would mean that everyone in the business would make more money. But they're not in that position. It's very hard to be in that position when you have the economy that we're living in at the moment. So don't look at your employer and go, where's my increase? Where's my increase? I deserve it. Unfortunately, if you haven't got that 7, 8% increase for the last 5 years every year, your salary is actually devalued because inflation is running away from your salary. The cost of living is increasing beyond what your salary is increasing by every year. That's just the fact of it. This is the fact of it. So these few slides that seem very negative, I'm hoping are painting a realistic picture for you. I'm not an accountant. I don't look at this stuff normally, right? I nearly had a heart attack when Tim sent this stuff to me and told me how much money I needed to have saved by the time to retire just to have 26,000 Rand every month. You've dedicated your entire life, 40, 45 years to working for somebody else, and now you get to retirement and you need to regret your whole life because you can't even survive. Don't be in that position. 98% of us are going to be in that position. So odds are you are going to be in that position. But I'm hoping the people in this room, by the end of this presentation, will see an opportunity that can escape this. Because I don't see this as a realistic solution. Right? Because people don't engage in it. When 98% of people don't do this, is it working? It isn't working. So you're here with me this morning on a Saturday, instead of watching your kid play sport or lying in shouting for your spouse to bring you coffee. You're listening to me, but it's going to be an opportunity. It's going to be a crossroads for you. Okay? All right, so out of all this negativity, DuePoint was formed. We created this system. We saw an opportunity as a business entity. As a business enterprise, we saw an opportunity of creating a platform that empowers the average South African to get out of the cycle that we find ourselves in. Okay? So we launched this last year in February. So we've been operating as a division for a bit longer than a year. We've got 3 aspirations for our wealth engineers, right? We've actually got goals for you. We've got goals for you because you don't have goals for yourself. Right? When you're in the cycle, what you're doing is you're actually living month to month, year to year. Because to engage in any form of long-term investment or savings requires a decision way before you arrive at that point. Right? 40 years before, you've got to decide, this is where I want to be in 40 years' time. I'm saying to you, through the system, we can do it a lot quicker. But I have 3 goals for you. My first goal for you is to see you become debt-free. Completely debt-free. Debt is crippling. Debt is crippling. We don't realize it. You're either on the good side of compound interest or you're on the bad side of compound interest. We want to see you on the good side of compound interest. We want to see you own the house that you live in. No debit orders going off for cars. You pay a year up front for your kids' education. You don't have to worry about where you want to go on holiday. You don't have to have a family meeting like we do to decide where we can afford to go. Are we going to the Vol Dam or Umhlanga Rocks this year? Okay? Our second goal, our second aspiration for our wealth engineers is to see you start creating value in an investment that grows every month. The tagline on our products is reward yourself first. Because what we do when we live in this month-to-month cycle is that we pay everyone else first. You do. You pay everyone else first. You pay the banks, the financial institutions, the schools, Woolworths and Checkers, Shell, BP. All those people get paid before you get paid. And if you get stuck in that cycle, you're going to get to your 50s and realize you've done nothing for yourself in the last 30 years. And then 10 years of panic ensues. 10 years of panic. Right? You want to know why people only engage in savings and investment products at the age of 50? Because they only finish paying their bond off when they're in their 50s. Their kids only move out the house and become self-sustaining, self-supportive when they're typically in their 50s. And so for the first time in your life, you finally paid off the biggest debt instruments in your life. You've got the financial burden of children out the house. And now, in a panic, you realize you need to start engaging in savings and investments because you only got 10 years before you get retrenched. I mean, retired. Similar thing, right? And that's why South Africans only start engaging in those products so late in life. Okay? And our third goal. So those are the first two, right? Create an investment where you pay yourself first. An investment is you paying yourself first. The third aspiration is to see our wealth engineers happier. Sounds like a fickle thing. We want to see you happier. That's what freedom's all about. We had Freedom Day. Everyone celebrate Freedom Day on Thursday? Did you feel free? No, you didn't. Political freedom is one thing. Economic freedom is a completely different thing. True freedom is in both. True freedom is in both. You can vote, but you can't put food on the table. Right? We want to change that. We want to take that stress away from you. We want to break you out this monthly cycle. We want to say to you, you have the opportunity to now plan 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ahead so that you can work on something every month that is something that builds you, something that you can look forward to. Okay? So we want to see you connect with your dreams and aspirations again. Those are things we had as teenagers before we had accountability, before we had kids, before we had bills. We want you to connect with that again. So how does this all work? Well, our guests, you've got the opportunity of joining DuePoint. What actually happens is that you contract with us. Okay? And in this contract, all we want you to do is go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And I'll show you what one of those look like. But through these channels of distribution, these are people that you're introducing to us. And on our online platform, we'll attempt to place products with these people that you introduce to us. And that's how this entire business works. As simple as that, right? Explain your business in 60 words or less. There, I've just done it. That means it's a good business. Complicated businesses, you need to watch out for. The benefit to the wealth engineer is that you get to create this additional income stream for yourself, right? That's obvious. The system's not designed to replace your salary. It is there to supplement it. Like I said, we want to see you break out of the cycle. You can only start paying your debt off faster when you have an additional income stream. Because your salary is not covering everything currently, right? You get to create recurring income. Now, this is an awesome benefit that only some companies can offer. Recurring benefit, a recurring income. What is that? It's the ability to put effort into something, into an asset, that doesn't pay you once off. It pays you in a recurring fashion. So this is one of the big detractors of the business I started, which I didn't realize. My father said to me when I was very young, he said, get involved in a business that pays you when you're sleeping. I had no idea what on earth he was talking about. I think he told me when I was like 12. What was I supposed to know, right? But this is what he was talking about. He was talking about getting involved in a business that creates recurring income, a business that has residual value. Residual value is something that gives you value more than just once. So like if you owned a property, right, and you rented out the property, that's recurring income that you've created, right, because you've got this residual value in the property. Some businesses, a lot of businesses don't have recurring income. So people that sell time, people that are involved in some form of trade where they're selling their services, they don't have that. They can't create recurring income. And that's what my business was all about. I had designers working for me, developers, salespeople, a couple of admin staff. And every month we would have to go through that process. Salespeople would have to find the business. They'd have to brief the business into all the designers and the developers. We'd have to do the business, and then we'd invoice the business. Right? Every single month that happened. At the beginning of every month, I started at zero again. Did it for 20 years. I can't believe it. Started at zero at the beginning of every single month. Guess what happened in December when all my staff wanted to take leave? You laugh. We're talking about lawyers, hairdressers, designers, programmers, anyone who sells their time as a service are all in the same position. Not a great business to be in. This business, insurance businesses, they call it book value, an insurance business, book value. It's actually residual value, right? So the effort that you put into building these channels of distribution won't pay you a once-off return at the end of the first month. We will keep paying you a recurring income based on those people that you've referred to us. It's an awesome benefit. Awesome benefit. You get to harness the power of duplication. How on earth do these CEOs pay themselves such big bonuses, right? Such a contentious issue. How can that guy afford to pay himself such a huge bonus? He's doing it because he's built a business with all of us working for him. We've all got the same amount of time in the day, 8 hours. The big boss has also got 8 hours of work. The difference is he leverages all his staff, right? In this business, you've got a similar benefit. These teams of distribution, these channels of distribution that you build are actually teams that you build that you can collaborate with. So if you've got limited time, we all have limited time. Maybe an hour a day you can afford DuePoint. But now you build a team that collaborates with you. Let's say 10 people you bring into the business. Each of them are contributing an hour a day. Now you've got 11 hours being invested into your channel of distribution for your benefit, for your financial benefit on a recurring basis. This is leverage, right? You get to harness this leverage. Flexi time. You get to dictate how much time you want to spend in this business. No one is going to tell you how much time to spend in this business. Now this is a two-edged sword, double-edged sword. Why? Because I'm saying to you, you're accountable for your own time. I'm not going to phone you if you don't do anything in this business, I promise you. You go to work late every morning for a week. What's going to happen? Written warning, another written warning, third written warning, disciplinary process, fired. That's how it works, right? So now you're coerced into going to work on time. I'm not going to coerce you in this business. You have to make that decision on your own. But what are we talking about here? Is this a New Year's resolution that we're all looking at? Right? Losing weight, stop smoking. It isn't. We're talking about your life here. 98% of us. I'm talking to you. So you have to make a decision by the end of this presentation. If you're interested in this business opportunity, you're going to decide by the end of this presentation what time in the week you're going to sacrifice. Because I'm going to propose to you, I want your family time. I want your spare time, your leisure time, your time watching Game of Thrones and Generations every night. That's the time I want. And that's the time you have to be prepared to give up to be successful in this business. Okay? So look at flexi time and don't go, oh great, I can decide when I want to do the business. Yes, you're going to decide what time to sacrifice to do the business. No startup capital. There's no registration fees or starting fees. We don't have boxes of product you have to buy to get started in this business. It's a very low risk business opportunity that we're speaking about. So it becomes very accessible to a lot of us. Okay? No qualifications or experience required. This is very important because we work within financial services. We're regulated by the FASE Act and by the FSB. Very hard for people to get involved in financial services. Extremely difficult. Fortunately, we contract you out of all the regulation that we face so that you can get and derive the benefit of financial services like recurring income without having to worry about whether you got qualified or not, whether you have the experience or not. This is all stuff that's a burden to me. Brendan only told me once I joined the business. He said, oh, you've got to go do some financial exams, REKI exams. You need 2 years of experience to operate in this business. So I'm doing all of that stuff currently. You don't have to worry about that stuff. You get to build an asset. This is a very important point because if I propose to you, I want your spare time. I want your time with your kids, watching sport with the kids on Saturday mornings, getting up late in the morning on the weekends. If I say to you, that's the time I want for you to work more. At least have ownership over this thing that you're building. We all nod, but we all spend 40 years working for someone else where we've got no profit share, no say in the business, no shareholding. Right? Bizarre. Bizarre. This business, the effort and the investment that you put into this business, you own. Okay? So you can sell it. You can sell your channel of distribution if you want to. Maybe if you don't have kids, you can sell it one day. If you have kids, you can give it to them when you get too old to talk. You can cede it to your beneficiaries if something happens to you before then, right? You can move it into a family trust if you want to be very clever. So you have all these options available to you. There's no selling involved. I think I've confused a lot of people. But you should be rejoicing at that. No selling involved. How many of our guests arrived this morning and thought, I wonder what we're going to be selling here? Right? That was the first question you asked the person that invited you. What's it all about? What are we selling? What's the products? What's the products? What are we selling? There's no selling involved. We contract you out of selling, right? It's a wonderful, wonderful benefit because most of you are terrible at selling. Terrible, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. The nature of our business is financial, obviously. Our products are financial in nature. They are intangible. Intangible. Like I said, there aren't boxes of product behind reception. So if you brought your uncle's Bucky this morning in anticipation of killing it in this business, I'm sorry you've wasted your time. Dr. Benfield's got a joke, he said, because he's been involved in insurance sales from straight out of school, right? Brendan's dad. And he said he had a little trick when he used to go visit potential clients. He used to put his briefcase down next to him at the meeting room, and he'd say, "You're very lucky, I've got my last insurance policy in my briefcase." We don't run out of products, guys. We don't run out of products, okay? So we make this business as convenient and as simple as possible to get involved in. All predicated on you going out and building these channels of distribution. So what are these? What do they look like? They begin with you. You become a wealth engineer. What is the first thing we expect you to go and do? Go tell other people about what DuePoint is all about. We don't do any advertising. We rely on referral marketing, right? It's a very powerful form of marketing, especially today. Especially today. Referral marketing's been around for a century at least. But it's becoming very powerful because people are losing faith in traditional forms of marketing. We get bombarded by it. I think I read somewhere we get exposed to something like 6,000 brands a day, right? That's crazy. So we rely on our wealth engineers. You're going to go out and you're going to tell other people about this business. And when we're successful in placing a product with those individuals, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution, right? Those people that you've introduced to the business are going to do exactly the same thing, right? This is the beauty of referral marketing. Facebook, their success has been predicated on referral marketing, right? Friends are friends are friends. When someone puts out an ad on Facebook and someone likes it, that's a form of referral marketing. It gets employed in thousands of industries. And this is how we do it. This is how we harness it. The beauty of it is it's so easily leveraged. Because how much time did it take to introduce the first 5 people to the business? There's still one person that doesn't do anything, right? That's the person watching Game of Thrones. But you have this organic growth that can potentially take place in your business. And next month, a few more dots will appear. You are getting paid a return based on all these dots you see on the screen in a recurring fashion. This is not 1 month. This is 1 month, then the next month, the following month. You keep getting paid for the channel of distribution that you see here. This is the legal asset that you have ownership over, right? So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. My disclaimer slide. See the pretty ballerina's feet? Which foot do you like? This is the foot we only see, right? I dated a ballerina. That's what the foot actually looks like. It's not very nice. But this is similar to how we view business. We see people running their own businesses. These bosses, our boss. Look at his nice car. He's got a big house. Look at the bonus he paid himself. Even his dogs are good looking. And we think it's easy. We think it's easy. Let me tell you right now, nothing is easy in this life. To make success out of anything, it doesn't matter. Gym, losing weight, stop smoking, your relationship with your spouse, your business. If you want success out of those things, it is fraught with frustration, negative aspects, and nothing is short term. Any success is only done in the long term. Only done in the long term. Unfortunately, we live in a society where everything has become short term. Short-term gratification around everything, right? It's exacerbated by technology. Technology is a wonderful thing, but it's got a serious negative downside to it. So don't make the mistake of looking at this business. And I'll excuse you for arriving here this morning thinking, I've been bloody invited to one of these get-rich-quick schemes that are floating around the country. Let me remind you, we're a 70-year-old business that's listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. You think we're going to align ourselves with something that looks like a get-rich-quick scheme? Never. We don't even smell like a get-rich-quick scheme. And I'm not going to lie to you and say this business is easy and you can find success quickly in this business. It doesn't exist. If someone says that to you, they're lying to you. This business is going to require the same effort that any other business requires. If you've ever had the pleasure of trying to start your own company, you will appreciate the difficulty. 95% of businesses fail in the first year. That gives you an indication, right? So I'm telling you now, it's difficult to be successful. It's not impossible. It depends on you, on the time that you're going to decide at the end of this presentation that you're going to commit to this business. It's not going to be, I'm going to do it in my spare time. We don't have spare time. Don't let that be your reason. That frustrates me more than anything when someone says to me, that guy didn't join because he says he doesn't have time. What the hell were you doing here? We're here to solve that problem. That's the problem we're trying to solve for you. Don't let that be your excuse. This is my disclaimer slide, right? No one's going to leave this presentation under the assumption that this is going to be easy. Okay, our returns. This is what we pay our wealth engineers every single month based on how many products you have in your channel of distribution. So we pay you a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that you have in your channel. Okay, but this is determined on where that product lies in relation to you. So remember the first 5 people that you introduced to the business? These are people that you personally introduced. They lie on your first point because they are 1 point away from you. So on here in the table, point 1, we actually pay you double the R27.50. So we're paying you R55 for every product, every month going forward, right? Recurring income. It's recurring income. Point 2, exactly the same thing. We pay you R55 for every product on point 2. Point 3, the multiplier starts dropping down to 100%, and it starts dropping all the way down to point 8, where it reaches 4%. Okay? What's important to note is that we don't limit you at point 8. So from point 8 onwards, in theory, into infinity, we will pay you that 4% of the R27.50. So we don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. And we don't limit you on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. Okay? No limitations. Accountability, again, lies with you. Are you doing this short term or are you doing this long term? So this is the mechanics of the returns. Fairly straightforward. The next natural question is, well, how much money can I earn here at DuePoint? If I spend some time at DuePoint, like what can I expect to earn? You know, I'm taking this step of faith. I trust your business. I trust the people involved. I trust the platform. But explain to me how much money I can earn after 6 months, or you talk long term. What about after 5 years? Where can I be after 5 years? Is it going to be worth my time? So we built this thing called the path to success. It hinges on this growth formula. The growth formula we call the 3+2 growth model, right? It assumes that our wealth engineers can bring 3 new people into the business in their first month. 3 in the first month, okay? Let's call it the 1st of May. So in May, you're going to bring in 3 people. And then every consecutive month thereafter, you're only going to bring in another 2 new people, okay, personally. So we call it the 3+2 growth formula, because it's going to be 3 + 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 for the rest of your life. But after 6 months of doing that, you can be in a position where you're earning R2,500 a month. I didn't get any oohs or ahs or any highbars, or is that a lot of money? Does that get you excited, or are you thinking, well, R2,500 is not that much really for 6 months of work? And my agency was charging, depending on who we were briefing, between 800 and 1,000 Rand an hour for our programmers and our designers. So for me, when I first saw the example, I thought, 2,500 Rand after 6 months of work, that's not much. But you're either on the good side of compound interest or you're on the bad side of compound interest. You're either thriving every month or you're in the cycle of surviving every month, right? And I know 98% of us are in survival mode. If you get to this position and you have debt in your life, which you all do, yes. Here's an example of someone with a R1 million bond, okay? So they got to their 30s where they started earning enough salary to go buy their own house. They went to the bank. They said, please, can I have a loan? I don't have R1 million cash. The bank said, okay, I see you're earning a salary. Your credit record looks decent. I'll give you the the £1,000,000 to buy the property, but you're going to pay me back for the next 20 years. Yes, we all know the bond, right? At the current interest rate, you're probably going to be paying about 11,000 Rand a month towards that bond for 20 years. So if I'm 35, got the house, I can expect to become a homeowner at the age of 55. But 6 months with some success at DuePoint, suddenly I'm earning an extra 2,500 Rand. What's our first aspiration for our wealth engineers? Pay your debt off, right? Become debt-free. So instead of spending the 2,500 Rand on a new pair of Nikes are getting crazy expensive, eh? Handbags, whatever else we like to buy for ourselves. You take the 2,500 Rand, you put it into debt, right? There's no short-term gratification there whatsoever. No short-term gratification. 6 months of work, you're earning 2,500 Rand. You want to go spend it on yourself, on something nice, right? But if you're making a decision for 20 years' time, you're going to put the 2,500 Rand into a debt instrument like your bond. If you make this additional payment into your £1,000,000 bond, you're going to pay the house off in 11 and a half years instead of 20 years. Now I'm paying the house off when I'm 46, not 55. Do you know how much money it's going to save you in repayments? Take a guess how much money you save in repayments. That little 2,500 Rand. It's going to save you the same value as what the property cost you. You're going to save £1,000,000 Rand in repayments with 2,500 Rand a month. Doesn't that blow your mind? That freaked me out. I didn't trust the accountants. Can't trust accountants. They can be sneaky with numbers sometimes. Right? So I went and Googled it, found a compound interest calculator, worked it out myself. You save £1,000,000 Rand on a £1,000,000 Rand house with 2,500 Rand additional payment into it. Crazy. Don't be the person that waits till they get to their 50s to become a homeowner, right? Do it sooner. 6 months' time, 12 months' time, you're earning over 100,000 Rand annually. Anyone get a 100,000 Rand bonus this year? No one. There's 140 people in the room. You're telling me no one got a 100,000 Rand bonus? Usually there's one. Sometimes they're too shy to put up their hand because the rest of us are going to ask them for a loan. Right? Guys, that's 12 months. 24 months, you're on 30,000 Rand a month. Now we're talking. It doesn't matter how much money you earn. You can be earning 200,000 Rand a month. An extra 30 grand a month makes significant difference to anyone's life. Now we talk about economic freedom, right? At this point. It doesn't matter who you are. You keep going. After 36 months, you're on about 50,000 Rand a month. You want to look at the bond example again? Here's an example of an individual with a 5 million Rand bond. They take that huge 36,000 Rand and they put it into that bond payment. At month 30, they'll pay off a 5 million Rand house off in less than 7 years. Less than 7 years. Anyone under the age of 40 here? You're under the age of 40, you can do that exercise 3 times over. Picture yourself with a 15 million Rand property asset in 21 years' time. That's before you retire. Do you want to be the person that waits, hoping that they're going to get the bonus at work, hoping that they get a raise of 8% every year, hoping that they don't get retrenched, hoping that their friends are going to help them, hoping that their kids are going to support them? Hope, hope. Keep hoping. Hoping on other people, hoping on other people, hoping the economy is going to change. Or you're going to be the person that makes a change today for something that can give you change later on in life. Something that doesn't necessarily give you immediate gratification. Do you want to be the person that only becomes a homeowner on their first house at the age of 50-something? Or you're the person that owns 3 houses by the age of 60? We keep going. 48 months, you're probably close to about 70,000 Rand a month. And after 60 months, a short 60 months, £1 million Rand annually that you've created for yourself. That's recurring income. This is going to keep paying you every single month, nearly 100,000 Rand a month. Let me remind you the value of money. If you want to earn 5,000 Rand a month extra, right? We saw that retirement slide. You needed to have how much money in the bank? 1 million. You needed 1 million rand in cash in the bank to afford yourself 5,000 rand. You could get to 2,500 rand in how many months? 6 months. So what's happened is you've actually created for yourself a 500,000 rand cash investment in the space of 6 months. Guys, you need to start viewing money differently. Compound interest and debt, you need to start viewing it differently. Do not view it the same way the rest of us view it. That's the mistake 98% of us are making every single day. This is 60 months away. Like I said, no short-term gratification in this process. There's a little bit, but we want to spend it on the short-term gratification. So you might be thinking, well, this is based on this growth model, right? Remember, I said to you, this is based on 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's only an example. It's just an example. It's the clever accountants with a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, that pulls in lots of numbers to push this out. You can join this business, which is the simplest thing in the world. It's accessible to anyone. Any adult can join DuePoint, become a wealth engineer. Tell everyone you're a wealth engineer. But you can be part of the growth model that is 0 plus 0. You can. This is life. Right? The platform doesn't guarantee your success. I don't say to you, oh, you're guaranteed to get to 2,500 rand after 6 months. I have to put disclaimers on everything because people make the mistake of, oh, the platform's not working. Look in the mirror. That's why the platform's not working. You can do more than 3 plus 2. It's only an example. You can do more than 3 plus 2. I've got hundreds of wealth engineers doing more than 3 plus 2. Here's Mavuma. He joined in November. 5,000 rand within 3 months. In 90 days, he created 1 million rand cash investment for himself. Tell me how long it's going to take you to save 1 million rand. He did it in 90 days. 90 days. In the space of the next 30 days, he increased that by 20%. Please go ask your boss for a raise every month. See what he says to you. That's where he is now. Do you think he's stopped now? You think he's happy? Next month he's not going to do anything? He's going to keep pushing because he's got a why that is 20 years away. This is nothing for him. This is nothing for him. It's the beginning. Here's Donnie. Donnie joined us the day we opened our doors at this division. His income has grown every single month. He's got one of the most sustainable businesses at DuePoint. He actually got the Best Performance Award at our annual conference earlier this year because he's got such an amazing business, right? The more sustainable business you grow, the more you can depend on it in the long term. Patrick and Pumi. When we talk about commitment, these guys are committing every spare second they have to this business. They are living DuePoint, living it. Go ask them about sacrifice. They've got a list of things that they've sacrificed. No more gym, less time at the church, less time with their son. You laugh. You laugh. They take it fairly seriously. Pumi gets fairly depressed by the fact that she's sacrificing time with her son. But why is she doing it? Because it's allowed her to get into this position. They got paid 83,000 rand last week. You work out the equivalent cash investment you need that pays you out 70,000 rand a month. Guys, it's the opportunity to empower yourselves, to change your situation. We've got hundreds of wealth engineers that we pay every single month that have created an additional income stream for themselves. This division is 1 year old, right? It's 1 year old. It is a speck in our lifetimes. The unfortunate thing is, ask yourself what you were doing 1 or 2 years ago. It's probably the same thing you're doing today, right? I get depressed. I'm 40 years old. I get depressed knowing that I've been working in my career for 22 years and haven't really produced much. I haven't. 4 years ago, I got the invitation to, 3 years ago, I got the invitation to my 20-year school reunion. I thought, what the hell have I done in the last 20 years? I ran a business that started at zero every single month. Right? It paid the bills. I lived fairly comfortably. We had months where I couldn't take a salary. I had to pay my staff. Went through the ups and downs. I spent the whole year saving up for December when all my staff wanted to take leave. That's the cycle I was in. You've got to ask yourself, what does your next 20 years look like? And you can see that you can make change fairly quickly in this business, right? I'm not going to promise you short-term success, but you can start making a difference immediately. Immediately. By next month, you can start earning money in this business. So those are the returns. The returns is what we pay our wealth engineers every month based on the products they have in their channel of distribution. But over and above that, we've even got a rewards program. This maybe satisfies our short-term gratification. Okay? So we've got a rewards program. When you become a wealth engineer, I'm going to assume that you're going to start engaging in typical wealth engineer behavior, which is logging into your website, coming to intro presentations, coming to training, bringing guests, all of that. And when you start doing those type of things, I'll give you something called XP. Okay? Doesn't have any monetary value. You can't go buy a coffee with the XP that you have. It's worth nothing. But it indicates to me how active you are as a wealth engineer. So when you start gathering XP and your channel starts to grow, so you've got real success in your channel, right? Then you'll start to rank up in our rewards program. So if you join today, you will have the illustrious title of rank 0 wealth engineer, because you're still part of the 0+0 group. But very quickly, within 24 hours, you can get to rank 1. You only need 1,000 XP, and you need 4 products in your qualified channel, and boom, suddenly you rank 1. So over and above the return that we're paying you at the end of the month, I'll give you a reward of 55 Rand. And then as you start to have more success and you start collecting more of this XP, you'll start to rank up. Then you'll get to rank 2, right? And then the rewards get bigger. $100, 1,500, 20,000, 50,000. That's where Patrick and Pumi are. Last month they got to rank 10, and we gave that 50,000 Rand reward on top of the return that they earned. Okay? We give away tools that make you more effective as wealth engineers. Everything we do in this business is geared towards supporting you. So here's Patrick and Pumi at rank 5. We give you this little memory stick. It's a beautiful little memory stick, right? 64 gigs, USB 3, but more importantly, it's got all our video collateral on there. And it plugs into any device, literally any device, computers, laptops, tablets, phones. Apple, banana, Android, all of them. It plugs into all of them. So that Patrick and Pumi can show people what DuePoint is all about, regardless of what device they have, where they are, what time of the day it is. At rank 7, we give you these luxurious, premium business cards. They cost us 12,500 Rand to manufacture. Because people haven't heard of DuePoint. But I promise you, if you put a business card in their hand that is 20 times more valuable than the card that their companies issued them, they'll take you a little more seriously. They'll give you a little more time. It's all about first impressions, guys. First impressions and credibility, right? Be aware of that if you get involved in this business. How do I dress? How do I speak? How do I look? What are the business cards I have? How do I do this business? This business is not a hobby. It's not a hobby. Don't arrive in your t-shirt and shorts for business. This is business. Business. Rank 9. This is one everyone gets excited at. Take a look at why they get excited.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
That's available to everybody. Everyone in the room. Don't clap, you're not there yet. Right? So easy to get excited because this is a trip that we take your whole family on. It's our international conference. This year we're going to Mauritius. The footage you saw is from around the Beachcomber resort that we're going to. It's one of their top 5-star resorts. So it's an all-expenses paid trip for you and your family for 7 days to Mauritius, business class flights, and it's every single year. When you get to rank 9, you get to enjoy this every single year going forward. All the other rewards are once-offs. They're once-off rewards. Once you get to rank 1, that 55 Rand's gone. But when you get to rank 9, we want to enjoy this with those wealth engineers every single year with their families. With their families. It's not just a holiday. This XP Rewards program supplements the returns. Let me tell you now, the returns are way more important than the rewards. But this is something that we can kind of connect with, right? So let it be your goal to get to rank 9. We've had an individual in Durban get to rank 9 in 5.5 months. 5.5 months, you got to rank 9, right? That's how quickly you can do it. You can take 5 years to get there. There's no time limit on these rewards. Okay? Rank 11, we buy you a car. Buy your car cash, we give it to you. Not even a DuePoint sticker on it. No T's and C's around it. The car's yours. Decide which car you like. Connect with the goal. Imagine what it smells like getting into a brand new car that's yours that doesn't have a debit order at the end of the month. We're very serious about getting our wealth engineers to the point where they are actually debt-free. You need to start recognizing this. This is the common thread through everything that we do here. You don't believe it for yourself yet. Debt is crippling. Think twice about signing for that 5th credit card. Right? We've got another benefit for our wealth engineers. We call it the Wealth Quest. It's a little pink WQ that you see there. So this month, even though the month's nearly finished, but I'll tell you what the Wealth Quest is all about anyway. So every month, we issue a challenge to our wealth engineers, right? To get them a little focused on the month. So this month, we called it the Triple Lightning Qualifier, and we challenged our wealth engineers to find 3 new wealth engineers and help those 3 new wealth engineers become qualified, right? Which in turn means actually get 12 new people into your business in the month of April. If you can do that, you'll have a new iPad in 3 weeks' time. It's not a tool for your kid to sit on YouTube. It is a tool for your business. Everything we do is to support you in your business, right? So on the 1st of May, which is 48 hours away, we will be issuing the new Wealth Quest. And there'll be a new challenge and a new reward. So look out for it. It's going to get emailed to everybody, and it'll be announced at the intro presentation that we have on the public holiday, right? Public holidays are for us to work in. They're opportunity for us to build our businesses in, not to lounge at home and enjoy the time off from our employers. So this slide just basically explains our business model. I'll go through it very quickly. Traditional businesses engage with traditional forms of marketing, right? They spend a portion of their premium, goes every month towards marketing and advertising to grow their business, right? So insurance companies spend a large proportion of money on client acquisition, which is new business. DuePoint, you won't see our logo outside of the building. We do not do a stitch, not a single thing of marketing and advertising. Instead, we rely on our wealth engineers through word of mouth, referral marketing, to go tell people about who DuePoint is. Okay? So instead of spending the billions that the insurance industry spends every single year on marketing, we take that portion of the premium and it goes towards returns and rewards for who? For our partners. Okay. So that explains the business model. I'll speak about our products very quickly. This is not something you have to labor over. Our products are very straightforward. We've got 3 products that all have very different financial benefit. You can decide to take out one or all 3 products. Okay, up to you. The first product is an investment product. It's called Access Wealth. It is 299 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand gets invested on your behalf in your name into a tax-free investment fund. Okay, so now you're the owner of a tax-free investment fund. 100 Rand gets put in there every single month in your name. It's not a notice deposit. It's not a fixed deposit. Okay, you can draw the funds out immediately. It takes us, I think, 72 hours to administrate that, withdraw the funds. But then it wouldn't be an investment if you keep drawing them. It's not a current account. On top of that, we give you a little bit of insurance on this investment. We give you 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. Okay? So if you have this product, something happens to you, you get killed in some form of accident, or you die in some form of accident, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 110,000 Rand. So this is an investment product. The second product is an insurance product only. Only insurance. Wealth Guard. 274 a month, but this time for 274 Rand, you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Anyone over the age of 18 can take out this product. You can be 90. Take out this personal accident cover. The premium stays at 274, and you still get 1.1 million Rands worth of benefit. Okay? Insurance product. The third product is called Wealth Points. It is a discounts type product. It's called the Wealth Points Buyers Club. If you own this product, it is 274 Rand a month. And what this product aims to do is save you money on the money you are spending every month anyway. Okay? So you have this product, you get to engage in the list of suppliers there. We've gone to those suppliers and we've negotiated discounts with them that we share with our Wealth Points Buyers Club members. So the big one, very popular one, is ShopRite Checkers, because I know everyone is spending a fortune on groceries every month. It's something that you cannot avoid. You get 2.5% off your entire trolley at ShopRite Checkers. Right? So that's just one of the partners. We've got a whole list of partners there. We've got Eagle Ford. Right? You get a 5% off a 200,000 Rand car. What is the savings there? We sold 2 Fords through this program in the last month. Great product. If you want immediate benefit out of the products, this is the product to have. Okay? If you have any questions around the products, come speak to me afterwards. I remind you of the support that you get here. It is in my interest to support our wealth engineers, to see you successful, because I can only be successful as a business if my wealth engineers are successful. So lean into the support. We had training this morning at 9 o'clock that defined all the support you get here as a wealth engineer. If you become a new wealth engineer, go look at the training. There are 7 basic videos that you need to watch. One of them is plugging into the DuePoint system, which outlines all of this. Okay? So get involved. Plug into our system for your benefit. The decision slide. What was the decision we need to make? Guys, we're nearly at the end. We're at the end. What is the decision? I'm not interested for you to come tell me whether you're interested in this business or not. I'm interested in the people that want to do this business. I'm interested to know what you're going to sacrifice. Because I know we don't have spare time. People don't have spare time anymore. So what spare time that you don't have are you going to sacrifice? That's the decision we need to make. Right? We're not talking about a hobby here. We're not talking about a New Year's resolution. We're talking about changing your life. Changing your life. You want to get to the point where you enjoy a 5-star business class flight, 7-day holiday every single year for the rest of your life with your family. You want to get to that point? Do you know how that liberates your kids? It's not about running on the beach once a year. It's about your kids understanding what opportunity there is out there for you. Or do they want to see their parents slog for someone else for 45 years and then be depressed when they get to retirement because they're part of the 98%? Is that the picture you want to paint for your kids? That's the decision we're making. It is. There's no short-term gratitude in this business. This is long-term. Everything we do in this business is long-term. You saw that XP Rewards program. We went up to rank 11, right? A free car. It went to rank 20. Behind the scenes, we've planned to rank 28. Everything that we do is long-term. We're not here for short-term gain. We have spent a fortune on this business to get it started. We are here for the long term. And that's what I'm proposing to you. You want to be a partner in this business with us? Come along for the ride. Is it risk-free? Of course it's not risk-free. Nothing is. Are you going to be guaranteed success? No, you're not going to be guaranteed success. But I can't force you to do this business. I can't force you to spend 6 hours in this flexi-time business. You have to decide on that yourself, right? We make joining very easy. If you've got your own smartphone or your tablet with you, jump onto our homepage. We've got tablets available for you outside. Click on the big blue apply button. You're a wealth engineer in 7 minutes. Easy as that, right? Rank 0. Rank 1 by Sunday. Can you get to rank 1 by Sunday? Of course you can. Do you want to get to rank 9 or rank 1 by Sunday? Don't get excited about rank 9. Get excited about rank 1. Okay? This was the training we had this morning. So we have training all the time. Like I said, if you become a wealth engineer, make sure you know what those first 7 basic series videos are. They're on your dashboard. When you log into the web page, go to Tools, Downloads, it'll show you. All the videos are there. Go through them. Game of Thrones only starts in June. You've got time to now watch training for DuePoint, right? We've got merchandise. It's not a profit center for us, guys. It's tools to make you more effective. Please don't get engaged in this business and start going out and professing how awesome this business is and how into it you are, and then the person says to you, do you have a business card? And you say, oh, no. Please consider getting business cards. The USB stick is convenient because we've got a lot of our videos on the USB stick. So you don't have to use data. You can give one of those USB sticks to a friend. You can plug them into TVs nowadays. Watch our videos, right? Don't ask me for a charger. Get a power bank. We've got pins. The pins signify people that are successful here at DuePoint. It's the qualified wealth engineers that start earning 165 Rand a month and they are going upwards. Get the pin. It's 40 Rand. It shows everybody that you're working at this business, okay? What else do we have? We've got pen, notepad, and the tablet folder. I remind you, we've got a YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It'll tell you every time we load up a new video. All the videos we've done for the last year are on the YouTube channel. You'll notice that we are very much a technology-driven business. Don't come ask me, do you have printed material? Do you have a brochure for me I can take? Nothing is printed. Save the trees, right? We're all about technology here. Everything is on YouTube. All the videos are there. We've got a mobile app that literally allows you to manage your entire channel from the palm of your hand. Guys, thank you for your time this morning. I hope that this can make a significant difference to your futures. If you have any questions, come speak to me afterwards. Have a wonderful weekend. On Monday, we're doing 2 presentations. Public holiday, 2 presentations, 10 o'clock and 12:15. Come to both, bring 20 people each. Easy, right? See you Monday.